Ashe versus McCree. Who is better, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's not as simple as that. Welcome to the channel, guys. I am Stylosa. Okay, so Ashe is probably going to be playable tomorrow in competitive. This means we're going to get loads of Ashe literally everywhere. You'll have one on your team, there'll be one on the enemy team. But the big question is, and this has always been the question with Ashe, is she just a better McCree? Well, it's not as simple as that. When we first looked at the hero, we were like, well, yeah, she's just a better McCree. Look at her abilities. Look at the coach gun. This gives her a load of movement. She can get to the high ground. She can just go everywhere with this. It's like ridiculously good. Look at the dynamite. This gives her area denial. It gives her choke control. These are things McCree just literally does not have. So that's really, really good. She's got a hit scan weapon, just like McCree. When she uses the scope, it's basically McCree's weapon. And it's a scope. It's only ×1 zoom, but it's still a scope. So it means you can engage people at more, like, a longer range than what McCree can do. And then you look at the ultimate, and this is kind of the big kicker. McCree's ultimate is literally one of the worst ultimates in the game, just because it's so hard to get any value from it. A lot of the time, you pop this ultimate to kind of try and, like, I don't know, zone people, push them away. You don't really go for, like, okay, I'm going to get a ton of kills, or I'm going to combo it with something. It's kind of just like a throwaway ultimate. In fact, you'll notice a lot of really good players just use McCree's ultimate for the free reload. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, good God. Anyway, yeah, so Bobby's really, really good because you can use Bob to engage. So you throw Bob down, he knocks people up in the air, and then, well, he turns into a turret. And he does a surprising amount of damage when he's a turret. However, it's the knock up in the air, which is super strong, because you can combo. Because you could say, with a McCree, for example, okay, McCree, I'm going to knock them all up in the air, so it's going to knock the Reinhardt barrier away, and then you can Deadeye and probably kill people. Or we're going to combo it with Shatter, or we're going to combo it with Diva Bomb. There's a lot of things you can combo this with. So on paper, Ashe has got a lot of, like, options, which is really, really quite good. And not to mention, she can detonate a dynamite mid-air if she fires at it, which is a really strong thing to do. And also, she's got rapid fire in case somebody dives on top of her. Now, what is McCree and what's happening to McCree? Well, McCree on the PTR has got some changes. So McCree's Fan the Hammer will do more damage. This is a buff, a straight up buff to McCree. He'll do more damage, which is good. This means that against tanks, McCree's, well, going to do more damage. It also means, though, against the Doomfist or against a Tracer or a Genji, you can flash and Fan the Hammer and probably kill them. Now, with a Tracer and a Genji, you probably would kill them anyway, or a really squishy target like an Ana, for example, or a Zen. Doomfist, though, you probably wouldn't, but the buff now means that you probably will kill the Doomfist, or at least do tons of damage to Doomfist, which means that, well, he can't just come in with impunity and wipe you out. That is, however, in a 1v1 situation, because remember, Doomfist gets shields based on how many enemies are around him when he comes in with his abilities. So if he seismic slams into a massive group of people, he's going to get a ton of shields and you're probably not going to kill him. However, in a 1v1 scenario, yeah, it's going to be okay. So McCree, what's McCree's strengths? Well, he's got the Peacekeeper. It's a good weapon. Arguably, it's better than the Viper for Ashe because you can put damage into people quicker. Ashe has got more of a delay when she fires from the scope, so it's like bang, 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 whereas McCree is like bang, 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 bang. McCree's faster, so McCree actually on paper can put out more effective DPS. So if he's firing into a target, he can do arguably more damage faster than an Ashe can do. Now, the thing with Ashe is Ashe has got the option to engage people easier at longer ranges where McCree really suffers. So McCree is very much short to medium range. Beyond that medium range, like the medium to long range area, McCree's not that effective unless you're ridiculously accurate. And the argument there is, well, if you use Ashe, Ashe is going to be more powerful there because you've got the scope, so it's just going to be easier. So this medium to long range, Ashe is going to be way more effective than McCree. So where does all of this direct comparison come from? Where's all of this, oh, Ashe just deletes McCree? Well, I think it's just because, okay, they're both cowboys, or one's a cowgirl, one's a cowboy. They're both... What do you even call a cowboy? A cow person? That doesn't sound right, does it? One's a cowgirl, one's a cowboy. There we go. So they're both kind of the same type of image going on, the Wild West kind of futuristic image. They've both got a hit scan weapon. They both can put out quite a bit of damage, just, you know, shooting people, which is beautiful. But where it starts to get different is this. McCree's flashbang is really, really good for destroying flankers. Now, Ashe can deal with flankers, but it's not as clean, as crisp as it is with a McCree. So if you've got a Tracer that is heavily dominating your team, you pick the McCree. McCree's the counter to the Tracer, and you would hope that McCree can get the flash and then line up the headshot and delete the Tracer. Now, of course, I know we've got Brigitta still in the game at the moment. She's still super strong. Brigitta is getting nerfed on the PTR, so she won't be able to bash through barriers, so we maybe won't see her as often. Of course, the issue is she's kind of really strong, and it also means that Brig can't be bashed through her barrier, so you can't really stun her with another Brig, and she just does like more healing, although it's not that much more, but it's still more healing. So all of these issues. Anyway, but as a straight up flank sort of counter, McCree is going to be better than Ashe. Ashe can still deal with the Tracer, but it's going to be harder. Now, the way Ashe would deal with the Tracer is Tracer jumps onto the Ashe. Well, Ashe is looking to hit her maybe with a coach gun to sort of give her a little bit of range. Coach gun, of course, does damage as well to the Tracer. Then you're going to start firing at the Tracer, but you've got two ways you can do this. You can either try and bring up the scope and go for like a really precise close range hit, or you can spam with your primary fire. Now, I've noticed that spamming with my primary fire is strangely quite effective at close range, especially when a Tracer is on you. You'd think that it'd be hard to hit the Tracer, but it kind of isn't, right? It's provided you're aiming sort of at her and you're just spamming like crazy. One of your shots, or maybe two of your shots, probably will hit her. Most likely do enough damage to cause her to use recall. And of course, once she's used recall, then maybe you can try and get the finishing blow on her because she's got less, I guess, tools in a locker available to deal with you. Or maybe she just disengages altogether. You know, it's very similar like with an Ana. Ana, if she hits Tracer in a 1v1 with a dart, a lot of the time Tracer will recall that damage. That means that, well, Ana's got the advantage there, because if she's still got a grenade, well, she can nade the Tracer when she comes near and all of that. Anyway, that's going off on a bit of a tangent. So McCree is better at dealing with flankers. So what else is McCree better at? Well, he's not better at surviving, I can tell you that, because Ashe has got a disengage. Ashe can use the coach gun in any kind of direction for movement, so she can go vertically, horizontally. McCree can just roll on the ground for like 2 meters, which let's be honest doesn't really save McCree, does it? No, it's just you just do it for the reload. Or he can flash and hope that, well, you don't kill him and somebody helps him. So the issue with McCree, and this is the biggest problem with him, he is the most diveable DPS in the entire game. So if somebody jumps on top of him, McCree's a lot of the time he's just dead. And this is why you won't see McCree being used very often at the very highest level of the game. And the question is, will you see Ashe being used at the highest level of the game? Maybe. The problem with the highest level of the game is goats is everywhere, so, you know, DPS never get played. So there you go. Anyway, let's forget the highest level of the game. Let's focus more on how this is going to impact us playing on ladder. So Ashe, what's her big strength? Well, Ashe has got a lot of strengths, really. If you can maintain range and just sort of sit on the periphery of the fight, you can do a lot of damage. If people aren't going to really focus you, you can sit there as Ashe, farming away with your scope, throwing dynamite into chokes, detonating the dynamite. You guys are seeing in the footage in the background, you can see I'm having like a really fun time to play with her. And I guess that's another point. McCree is a very simple character. Like a really, really simple character. When you look at the Overwatch roster and you look at all of the varied abilities and you look at heroes like Hammond, for example, or even if you look at Ashe, let's use Ashe, she's the example. She's got a lot of things going for her that make her more enjoyable to play. McCree is very simple. It's land your shots on the enemy, shoot them in the head, or you will die. That is literally it. If you get caught out, you are dead. If Ashe gets caught out, you can maybe disengage. One of the examples I always give is when Ashe gets hit with a Winston, you can coach gun the Winston, so you fly backwards, you do damage to the Winston, and when the coach gun animation finishes, you can then just start firing your Viper, rapid fire, just spamming primary fire into the Winston. And this is a lot of damage. This might be enough damage to make Winston be like, oh, I'm getting out of this. Or it might actually kill the Winston if he's taking damage as he's coming to sort of try and jump on top of you. One of the things you don't tend to do with Ashe is use the dynamite and throw it at your feet when you get dove upon, because this thing blows up and it causes damage to you, which isn't great. Anyway, let's go back to the fun aspect. So throwing dynamite into a choke and then having the little mini game of trying to shoot the dynamite as it flies through the air is super cool. That is really, really cool. And it shows a more modern hero design compared to McCree. So when we go back to the big old argument of is Ashe a better McCree? In some ways, yeah, but in other ways, she's not. I think what we've got to remember here is these two DPS are going in different directions. I think Ashe is going to be more sustained damage in a fight with the option to lock down chokes with dynamite and a very good engagement ultimate and mobility to put her into positions where you may see a Widowmaker, but then you've kind of got this budget Widowmaker there with Ashe, where she's not as devastating as a Widowmaker, and I definitely wouldn't take a Widowmaker duel with Ashe because you probably will lose that, because remember, Widow hits you with a fully charged headshot, you're dead. You shoot over the headshot, she's not dead. You're going to have to hit her twice. Unless maybe you're getting damage boost, and again, it depends on the range, but if it's Widow, it's probably going to be long range. So you kind of got the trade-off there with not being as impactful as a Widow in that way, but also you've got your ultimate, you've got your dynamite, you've got your coach gun, you've got all these different things going for you. And then you come to McCree, and you look at what they're trying to do with McCree, and I'm fairly sure that, well, I'm fairly honestly sure, that's what I was going to say there, ladies and gentlemen, that McCree is undergoing a little bit of a class reassignment. The same thing which is happening to Brigitta, but it's more apparent with Brigitta, where they've clearly moved her back into, this is just a tanky healer now, instead of it being a frontline DPS healer nightmare of a character. McCree is shifting more into, yeah, he's going to deal with the flankers, and they buffed him so he deals with Doomfist better than he could deal with him before. He still deals with Genji and Tracer the same way he always has done, which just relies on you like having aim, landing a flashbang, and then punishing the Tracer for getting too close to you with the flash, and then headshot. That's how you do it. But now with Doomfist, it's more kind of safer to give him the old fan the hammer after you flash him. Although, little tip with Doomfist, when he jumps on top of you, flash the floor in front of you. Do not flash the Doomfist character model, because you will miss. He will fly through the flash and probably hit you, and you'll be left scratching your head going, what the hell? How has Doomfist just killed me? So always throw your flash at the floor. So yeah, I don't think Ashe is a better McCree. I think McCree's going in a different direction now, and Ashe is going in a different direction. I guess Soldier 76 is what we can end the video on. I don't know what's happening with Soldier, to be fair. He got buffs recently. He is a little bit better, but he's still just kind of not very impactful. His problem when compared to the other hitscan DPS is he takes too long to kill. When you look at McCree, when you look at Ashe, when you look at Widow, they are killing people faster, and that's the key. Soldier, a lot of the time, if you land a few shots with Soldier, if you were playing a McCree, you might have killed that person. If you were playing an Ashe, you might have killed that person, and instead they get away, and then they simply heal and they come back. So it's not great. So Soldier still needs work. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, then let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I've been Stylosa, and this is Unit Lost. Remember, click that bell if you want to get alerted to when videos go live. Also, follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and you can follow me on Instagram, which is instagram.com/Stylosa. And I'll catch you lovely lot on the next one. Toodaloo.